Episode number 6. 6 reasons why people buy property in super. Access to gearing. One of the cool things when you set up your self-managed super fund is you can start using gearing. Okay, Massey, well, what's gearing? Gearing is just another word for the ability to start getting loans to buy property. So you can get a loan, and getting that loan introduces a thing called gearing or leverage. So you can now have leverage in your portfolio. So without gearing or leverage, you have $100 in your super, you invest that $100. You now have $100 worth of assets. So you've turned it from cash to assets, right? You have $100. By you being able to use gearing or loans or leverage, you could have, say, $100, and instead of investing just $100, you can use that $100 to maybe acquire $500 worth of assets. That's the beauty of being able to set up a self-managed super fund and using it to buy property, is you can now introduce gearing. The other cool thing about gearing is the way that it works is through super, you end up with 2 borrowing capacities. So you end up with your personal borrowing capacity and you end up with your self-managed super fund borrowing capacity. And those borrowing capacities are separate and distinct. So if you already own property in outside of super, you could get maxed out on your borrowing capacity, and that is not going to impact your borrowing capacity inside of super. And conversely, what you do inside of super doesn't impact what you do outside of super. So that's a really, really cool hack that comes into play. You end up with 2 borrowing capacities. So let's look at a real world example of what gearing can do to a portfolio. So we had a couple of students, they joined, 3-4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. They joined teaching me about property. They had about $330,000 in combined super, and they decided to set up a self-managed super fund. And they used that self-managed super fund to acquire 2 properties, right? And so if you think about it, the first property they purchased was about $576,500. And the second property that they purchased was $515,500. Now, both of those properties were actually dual key properties up in Queensland. So when they first joined, they had $330,000 in combined super. They then used that to purchase 2 properties. That gave them total assets within their super of $1,092,000. And how do you get there? Through gearing. But here's the cool part. They purchased those properties, just over 3 years ago. And because they've purchased in a great location in Queensland and they're dual key properties, they've seen the value of those assets increase. So property 1, which they purchased for $576,500, is now worth $925,000. And property 2, which they purchased for $515,500, is now worth $882,000. So those 2 properties are now worth $1,807,000. And all of this because they've had the introduction of gearing and the ability to loan through their self-managed super fund to be able to buy property assets. So let's look at that as a summary. When they first joined, going back about 4 years, they had $330,000 in total combined super. Fast forward 4 years, they now have $1.87 million worth of property assets in their self-managed super fund. And that is what the benefits can be from introducing gearing into your self-managed super fund. So guys, it's been amazing spending the last few days with you and educating you around self-managed super and how to use and the top 6 reasons as to why people buy property in their super. Please remember, this is not advice. This is all educational. It's here to educate you guys and help you to understand, and get your mind thinking about what are some cool opportunities and why could proper be a winning strategy for you when it comes to building the wealth that you desire for your family. Much love, Fana. Peace out.